Brigitte Bardot is a former actress and model, perhaps best remembered for her role in the 1956 film And God Created Woman. At the time of the film's release, Brigitte was married to its director. However, they divorced the next year. Brigitte left the entertainment industry in the mid-1970s, though she's still around. According to Brigitte, who's now 88, she couldn't take the fame that came with acting. Join Facts First as we explore how Brigitte Bardot stays out of the limelight after her tragic career. Brigitte Bardot was born in Paris, France, September 28, 1934. The young girl grew up in a wealthy part of the city to a well-to-do family, but that doesn't mean her childhood was carefree. It seems she had a fairly miserable time growing up. Her parents were incredibly strict, forcing a conservative upbringing that didn't gel well with Brigitte in particular. One of the most defining moments of her childhood seems to have been an incident wherein her and her sister accidentally broke one of their father's precious vases. The accident resulted in Brigitte and her sister being whipped repeatedly. After the whipping, Brigitte's father gave the girls the silent treatment. Brigitte's family was Catholic, and their conservative values made the young woman feel she was trapped in a bubble as she began coming of age. She went on to rebel against these conservative values by becoming a sex symbol. Since her childhood, she had always shown a talent for ballet. However, during her teen years, she came to believe that her future lied in the world of modeling. In May of 1949, when she was 14, she appeared in the magazine Elle. Her 1949 appearance in Elle started up her modeling career. A few years later, she was ready to make the transition from modeling work to film work. As she was trying to make a name for herself as an actress, she met a man named Roger Vadim. At the time, he was the assistant to a director named Marc Allegret. Brigitte had secured herself a possible role in Marc's upcoming film. Marc sent his assistant to go check the girl out. Though Brigitte didn't end up getting the role, she left a pretty big impression on Roger Vadim. Roger Vadim made Brigitte a star. Roger Vadim was 5 years older than the 16-year-old Brigitte Bardot, but this problematic age gap didn't stop the two from falling in love. Roger thought the teenage girl was beautiful, and she thought he was unlike anyone she'd met before. When Brigitte's conservative parents caught wind of the fact that their teenage daughter was romantically involved with a man in his 20s, they understandably went about trying to put an end to it. According to legend, Brigitte's parents were so disturbed that their daughter had become involved with Roger, they threatened to send her away to England. When this threat was made, it inspired Brigitte to attempt suicide for the first of what would be many, many times. This first suicide attempt saw Brigitte turn her family's oven on and stick her head inside of it. Thankfully, her parents caught the young woman in the act. Her first suicide attempt proved fruitful, as her parents didn't end up sending her to England. Once they realized there was little they could do to keep their daughter from being romantically involved with Roger Vadim, her parents gave their reluctant approval to the relationship. Their only caveat was that Brigitte and her new lover couldn't tie the knot until the girl was 18 years old. Brigitte and Roger's wedding happened on December 21, 1952. The ceremony was a Catholic one. And God Created Woman was Brigitte's first big film. After the wedding, Roger Vadim set about turning his new wife into a full-fledged celebrity. Brigitte quickly became one of the most photographed women in the world. She was taking the world of modeling by storm, and Roger also secured her some minor roles in feature films. Of course, it was Brigitte's sex appeal that helped her stand out in the eyes of the public. She was often photographed wearing a bikini, and she was considered a sex symbol thanks to her modeling work well before she became a film star. Much of her early work in film was criticized due to the fact that she had little acting training. After several small roles in feature films, Brigitte was finally given a star-making role thanks to her first husband. Roger Vadim released his directorial debut in 1956 called And God Created Woman. It starred Brigitte as the female lead, and an actor named Jean-Louis Trintignant played her romantic interest. The film was shot on location in Saint-Tropez, France. Over the course of filming, Brigitte fell deeply in love with her male co-star. As legend has it, Brigitte had a hard time keeping her hands off Jean-Louis when the cameras weren't rolling. Her obsession with the actor paved the way for her and Roger to divorce in 1957. The divorce was largely amicable, as both parties had been unfaithful. Brigitte then continued her romance with Jean-Louis for a time. Like Brigitte, he was married at the time that the relationship began. Though they both left their respective spouses to be with each other, they never ended up getting married. They lived together for 2 years. Brigitte Bardot abandoned her only child. After living with Jean-Louis Trintignant for 2 years, Brigitte Bardot found a new lover in the form of a popular singer named Guibert Bécaud. Though Guibert was married, the two became romantically involved. She then moved on to another popular singer. This time it was Jacques Charrier. The two met after starring in a film together, which was called Babette Goes to War. Jacques went on to become Brigitte's second husband. Not only that, she had her only kid with him. When Brigitte became pregnant with her second husband's child, she didn't want to keep it. However, her in-laws managed to convince her to go ahead with the birth. Brigitte was forced to give birth at home due to the fact that there were too many paparazzi outside of her house for her to get to the hospital on time. Her first and only child, named Nicholas, was born in January of 1960. Brigitte suffered from severe postpartum depression after the birth of her child. It was greatly exacerbated by the fact that she hadn't wanted to have the child in the first place. The same year he was born, Brigitte attempted suicide once more. This attempt was a good deal more serious than the first one. Not only did she consume a whole bottle of sleeping pills, she also slit both of her wrists. It seems the attempt was premeditated, as the actress could be quoted in the tabloids that week expressing that she was going to die soon. The tabloids started tearing Brigitte apart in the 1960s. Brigitte divorced from her second husband in 1963. He was given custody of their child. By the end of the 60s, Brigitte was known more for being tabloid fodder than she was for being an actress or a model. Towards the beginning of the decade, her secretary turned against her and sold many of her personal secrets to the tabloids. This started up a trend of the actress being made fun of in the tabloids, and this trend never abated. It eventually led to Brigitte retiring in the 1970s. Some of the things that her secretary shared with the tabloids included the fact that the actress was very stingy with her money. But the thing the public seemed most interested in was the celebrity's strange love life. In addition to moving from husband to husband, Brigitte also had a penchant for engaging in affairs with both men and women. She's rumored to have had affairs with people like Warren Beatty and Serge Gainsbourg. In 1962, Brigitte got bored of acting and decided she wanted to start a career as a singer. She found some success as a singer and went on to work in the music industry for 2 decades. By the time she quit singing in 1982, she had already exited from the film industry. Her exit from the film industry happened in the mid-70s. Where is Brigitte Bardot today? Brigitte's third husband was a rich playboy named Gunter Sachs, and they were married from 1966 to 69. After divorcing from Gunter and then retiring from the industry, Brigitte married fourth husband Bernard Dormal in 1992. They're still together today, though Brigitte stays out of the spotlight. Nowadays, she's more interested in helping animals than she is in the entertainment industry. The former model-turned-actress hasn't looked back since leaving it behind. In 1986, she founded the Foundation Brigitte Bardot, which is dedicated to animal protection. She still lives in the same Saint-Tropez property that she's owned since the late 50s. She's 88 years old and has aged gracefully. But she claims she doesn't rely on exercise and plastic surgery to keep her young. Instead, she simply rolls with the changes. Now it's time to hear from you. Which part of the story was most surprising to hear about? Let us know in the comments section below.